Yep. Stream is on in public. So last we left off, I think the most recent thing I did, well, the main character, anyways, the most recent thing he did was go and make an appointment to speak with Makina's mother, trying to just call off the harassment that's just being launched against Makina. For example, there was the bakery shooting that also happened, like, in last stream. Like, the bakery Makina worked at, like, someone shot it up. Assumably just to get her to stop working there. And I guess now, like, the students are back home and I think dinner's ready. I think, like, they were eating, like, what? Something like flounder soup or something? And when I try to ask about her negotiations with her mother, she just answers it's okay now, without shedding any light whatsoever on what's okay or how. Since she clearly isn't eager to recount the conversation, and then there was also a brief conversation between Makina and her mother that we didn't actually get to overhear. In any case, Makina's expression is so genuinely bright that I can't help but feel slightly relieved, assuming that the discussion must have ended on a fairly promising note. Putting a hand on Makina's head as she smiles innocently, I ruffle her hair around violently like always. A striking scent floats up and fills my nose. This mixture of fruity shampoo and oddly sweet-smelling sweat is Makina's distinctive scent, unlike any other woman's. It leaves a youthful, almost childish impression. It's a deeply pleasant moment, almost like I've slipped my chilled body into a nice hot bath, but soon enough, a murmuring electronic rumble brings it to an end. Is that my phone? I take out my private cell phone to find the name Suo Amane displayed on the caller ID screen. Amane? Weird. Why would she bother to call? Amane went out to the supermarket to buy some tofu, you know? Wonder if she forgot her wallet or something. This is Kazami. This is bad. Really, really bad. Went shopping without your purse or something? No, no, no! It's burning, okay? This is very bad. It's burning like crazy! Ah! Something just went bang! Like, bang! Calm down. What's burning? It's the bakery! The bakery! Burning! What about the bakery? What are they burning? I don't know, the whole building? The bakery Makina works at is on fire. What do we do? What? Huh? What's wrong? Did something happen? It's the bakery by the station. She says it's on fire. Ah, hey! Makina! Wait! Yuji. Hey, Yuji. Are you listening? Amane, are you in a safe place right now? Okay, I didn't think we were gonna have to wait this long to hear Deadlock, but here we are. Then stay where you are until the fire department gets there. Keep your distance and don't try anything stupid. And yes, I did remember the name of the song. Granted, I played a DDLC mod that was heavily inspired by what I'm playing right now. Of course, it also did use songs from Fruit of Grisaia, this being one of them. Makina went running out, so I'm going to follow her. She's almost certainly headed over there. Makina is... What? Is it going to be okay? I'll take care of it. Hanging up now. A fire at the bakery. Bullets through the window just the other day, and now it's burning? Yeah, wasn't that like 3 days ago, the bullets, and now it's on fire? There isn't a damn chance that's a coincidence. As I rush out of the dorm in pursuit of Makina, my mind has already fixed on the worst possible hypothesis. This has to be arson. The night sky is dyed with pale orange light, the air filled with the foul stink of a large-scale fire. The station streets are already crowded with onlookers, surrounding the bakery where the blaze began from a cautious distance. Makina! She must have reflexively tried to run to the bakery, only to be restrained by a nearby bystander. Please don't run inside, it's on fire. One arm in the grip of a neighborhood housewife, Makina stands to the street, not screaming but shouting. Just staring at the burning building in blank shock, her breath caught in her throat, still as a statue. Makina, are you alright? I don't think so. Does that look like she's alright to you? The powerful agitation that drove her from the dorm, losing its external outlet, seems to have flowed down her back and turned her legs to jelly. Makina's knees tremble so violently she might collapse at any moment. Papa, it's burning! The bakery's burning. Makina. As she mumbles the words in tones of blank disbelief, I feel a heavy lump of uneasiness settling in the pit of my belly like a stone. My stomach squeezes in on itself painfully. Bathed in the transfixing orange light, people are desperately moving back and forth in front of the burning building. Casting vivid shadows across the ground as they relay water toward the flames. Among them are many familiar faces, mostly men from the shopping district, and Amane, her long hair thoroughly disheveled, swinging buckets down the line. Amane! Noticing me as I step forward to join the relay, Amane's eyes find Makina on my side. She rushes over instantly. Yuji! Makina! What the hell happened? Don't know, but they're saying someone set the fire. Arson. I fight down the urge to curse in frustration. It's one damn thing after another with these people. In any case, we need to fight the fire. Is there anyone inside? It's fine. The owner and his wife got away safely. Amane points to Makina's employer, sitting flat on the ground with pure incomprehension on his face. His wife crouches behind him, her face buried in the small of his back, sobbing frantically. Amane, look after Makina. Turning my back on Amane's dazed, soot-stained face, I run to join the relay line. Until the fire department arrives, we have to focus on keeping the flames from spreading. Are you okay? Hey, Makina! Amane! Makina. I see many people weeping under many different circumstances, but this is the first time it's felt this painful to watch. After all this time, she'd finally worked up the courage to try and leave the curse of the Irisu family behind. Of her own free will, she took a small but deeply meaningful first step forward. A simple part-time position at a neighborhood bakery. As she learned the job through steady effort, Makina told me about her dream of opening a store of her own someday. True, that might have been little more than the simplistic fantasy of a child, but even knowing that it might never be realized, she had a goal. She had a vision of her own bakery, of buying a home where we could live together. This job was her first small, precious step towards that objective. And now it's gone just like that. Smashed to pieces by irrational violence. The shop's windows lie shattered by the heat of the fire. As tendrils of flame lick persistently at the walls, the handmade signboard slowly burns down. It's the same sign that was hit in the drive-by shooting the other day. The handsome piece of wood has already begun to carbonize, but I can still make out the bullet hole. A tongue of flame spits through it, silently chiding, "We warned you, didn't we?" The arsonists must have been members of the Irisu's branch family. Even if their superiors admonished them to leave Makina alone, it's clearly not an order they're willing to accept. A faction within the branch house covered up the girl's existence for years, hoping to deceive the main family. And when the facts came to light, they'd reap what they sown. A preemptive attack nearly killed their candidate for the head of the Irisu Zaibatsu. I can sympathize with the rage it must have caused the branch family when their figurehead was wounded. But Makina's hardly the person they should be taking it out on, let alone her employer and his wife. This is just a childish spasm of violence. As I stare up at the burning store, I feel a strange heat spreading across my face. It has less to do with the temperature of the air than the emotions boiling up inside me. Eventually, the local fire department arrives on the scene. In the blink of an eye, the flames are extinguished. Fortunately, the only damage is to the property. The bakery on the first floor has been destroyed, but there are no injuries. As the owner sinks to his knees and moans in agonized disbelief, I can't find any words of comfort. This is honestly painful to hear, let me tell you. Makina. As I carry Makina to the dorm, Amane tries her best to comfort the girl, but she just buries her face on my back and doesn't respond. Ever since she was a child, she's had to deal with those deranged by power money aiming for her life. The girl might even be somewhat used to it by now. Even so, the guilt of having dragged completely unrelated people into this seems about ready to crush her flat. At such times, the kinder the people around you act, the more you'll close yourself off from them. More than anything else, out of the fear that you'll end up bringing them misfortune too. And Makina doesn't grow any more talkative after our return. I'm gonna go talk to Mom on the phone. With that one sentence, she disappears by herself. I don't think that's really gonna help matters. Yeah, I have a bad feeling that maybe it's actually the mom that's behind this. Why is that girl so depressed? Didn't I just explain this? The bakery she works at was destroyed by a fire, okay? But nobody got hurt, right? Everyone got out okay. Why not just be happy about that? Why is she making that face like it's the end of the world? It's not like it's her fault the store caught on fire, for crying out loud. Well, yeah, but... I haven't explained any of the details to Amane, but judging from the way her sentence trails off awkwardly, she seems to have her suspicions. It's certainly not Irisu-san's fault, but you can't say she's uninvolved either. It's a rather difficult situation. What are you talking about, Yumiko? Do you know something about this? I do, but that doesn't mean I can do anything about it. It's exceptionally galling. To be honest, I'm almost envious of your ignorance. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Don't fight, okay? If you absolutely have to know, I'll tell you. But even if you end up regretting you asked, it'll be pretty damn hard to forget. You sure you want to know? Like one of those urban legends where you get cursed just by hearing the magic words? Unfortunately, this is non-fiction. Non-fiction in their universe, fiction in ours. But yes, stuff like this does happen in the real world too. Though it's not always necessarily linked to giant crime families. People's livelihoods get burned down literally overnight. I mean, shit's been getting crazy in the US. It's been crazy for like the past 2 months with all these protests. Some devolving into outright riots. Also involving just burning down local businesses. This being people who have nothing to do with like black people being oppressed whatsoever. Having their businesses and their livelihoods destroyed by rioters. Makes me wonder makes me really wonder if I should have just picked another time to play this. I'd rather not hear it. I love Maki-chan as she is. Yeah, should I have maybe just held this off till some other time? You're a good girl, Sachi. What the heck? Now you're making it sound like I'm a bad girl or something. It's not like I'm that desperate to hear Makina secrets myself, okay? Still the tsundere, are you? I guess I'm not really gonna know how to act around her or something. Still being tsundere as usual, I see. In other words, what am I supposed to do here? You have to tell me clearly or I won't know. I'm an idiot, remember? Don't worry about it too much. Just interact with her the way same as always. If you clumsily tried to comfort her or something, Makina would just get even more depressed. Nobody wants to get pitied by an idiot. Don't call me an idiot, jerk! You just said it yourself, woman. Hey, Yuji. What? I'm not that great at acting either. I tend to blurt out the stuff I'm thinking or let it show up in my face. So it's probably better for me not to know too much. But even so, there's just one thing I really want to know. Can I ask? Go ahead. Is that girl going back to her family? I'm assuming not. What makes you think so in the first place? I guess it was summer vacation last year. I asked the girl if she was going home over break, and she answered. I'm a girl who can't go home, you know? Why not? If I went home, I don't think I'd be able to come back here again. Oh, why not? I can't explain it too well. I mean, I know it'd probably be best if I went home, right? But if I do go back, I don't think I'll be able to see anybody from the school anymore. Amani, Yumi-chan, Chiru, and even Chizu. I'd never ever talk to you guys again. That's one thing I don't want, no matter what. Oh yeah? I don't really get it, but if that's how it is, might as well not go home, right? I do think I'll have to go back eventually. But until that day comes, I don't want to go back there myself. Yeah, forget that. Okay then. How about you come visit my family this year? Let's go to Kyoto together. Yeah. Somehow the way Makina looks right now reminds me of that day. She only really gets that look on her face when she's talking about her family. It's kind of bugging me. She mentioned Amane, Sakaki, Michiru, and even Principal Tachibana's name. Why not Sachin, I wonder? You weren't even here yet last summer, remember? You're quite correct. Silly Sachi. You know, you're a real airhead sometimes, aren't you? Please stop. Coming from you, Michiru-sama, that's genuinely depressing. And what's that supposed to mean exactly? In any case, there aren't many ways you can help her right now. But there is something we can do. We can act normally around her. I think that about covers it. Yeah, I think she'd appreciate that more than anything else right now. We can only act normal. Something only I can do, eh? Susan, where's Rusu-san right now? She said something about wanting to be alone and wandered off. Actually, probably went to her room? So there you are, Kazami-kun. Are you telling me to comfort her? It's a specialty of yours, yes? Not sure we get an idea like that. So we just have to, what, act normal? Normally, Makina's so clingy it's outright irritating, but every once in a while she'll suddenly disappear on you. For example, when she gets all stubborn over some small thing and ends up getting in a fight. We're not talking about some crazy hijacking scheme here. We stole a balloon and they're gonna lock us up forever. Just act normal. Oh wow, street performers. But it's not as though the girl melts away into thin air. She always leaves her clues behind. When a woman says don't look for me, it means come find me right now. I think it was my big sister who taught me that when I was still very young. And this discarded sock caught unnaturally in Makina's door is probably her silent don't look for me. Makina, you in there? Entering Makina's room for the first time, I find it dim and gloomy. I flick the switch on the wall next to the door, but the lights don't come on. A dark, empty room. There's nothing in the way of furniture, none of the daily necessities of life. The girl carried everything she used regularly into Amane's room, leaving nothing behind here, as if prepared to disappear at any moment. Almost like a cat making its own lonely grave. You awake? Makina's nearly empty room is lit by only moonlight trickling in through the window. When my eyes adjust to find her curled up tightly on the floor, my heart gives a little jump of surprise. It feels almost like I'm looking at myself in the old days. As though the unpleasant memories I've tried to lock away have forced their way into reality. Makina. I kneel by her side and gently reach out to Makina's cheek, still damp from before she cried herself to sleep. It's warmer to the touch than I had expected. When I rest a hand on her small fist, the girl reflexively seizes hold of my fingers and squeezes them tightly. Just like an overgrown infant, she can't ask anyone for help. She knows her friends will do everything they can if she does, but even so, she can't ask. Anyone she turns to help will suffer for it, because the girl understands that her lips are sealed. She doesn't want to cause trouble for the people she cares for. It would be too painful to have them grow resentful or exasperated with her weakness, so instead she curls up in a dark place where no one can see her and wishes she was dead. She dreams of fading away quietly without bothering anyone. Yeah, just double checking to make sure the stream is indeed public, and yes it is. When you're warped this badly, an uncertain hand, tentatively outstretched, can bring nothing but pain. Still, I can't help but reach out to touch her. Even knowing my hypocrisy will hurt Makina, I can't do anything else. In the old days, when I stopped caring about anything, my master simply turned back, reached out a hand, and said, "Grab hold." And today I can only do the same. After that, it all comes down to whether she can find the willpower to take it. Honestly, I'm disgusted with myself. I hate that I don't have any other answers. I want to do something for her. Those feelings churn around fruitlessly in my head, producing nothing but frustration. Before I know what I'm doing, I kiss her pink and slightly parted lips. The girl's mouth smells like sugary bubblegum. Oh, Bazette, hi. Of course I wonder where everyone is, then again I just remember that most of the people who subscribe to my channel in the first place probably expected me to do nothing like this, just playing and reading visual novels. Even though we're getting into the dark and emotional stuff right now, if we haven't already got into that like last stream, there was also a shooting at the bakery Makina used to work at like 3 days prior to it burning down. Did I wake you up? No, I was awake. You don't say. That's the first time you kissed me instead of the other way around. Is it? You're okay with kissing me. So why don't you ever take things any further? Because I'm your father, I'm not going to do anything you don't want me to. Yeah, fathers typically aren't supposed to have sex with their own daughters, so... It's okay, you know. I wouldn't say no. Not to you. Just pretend he's not your papa for 1 second, please. If you want to do it, just don't see him as your dad. Like, you typically don't do your daughter. You typically don't do that. Makina's not exactly a girl you'd associate with the word seductive. Her childish innocence practically defines her, but right now she's got a surprisingly dirty twinkle in her eye. No matter how youthful the girl may look, it seems she's at least managed to pick up the slyness of an adult woman. What's this all of a sudden? Did your mother say something? Nothing, really. I see, Makina doesn't elaborate. Her voice is tinged with resignation, as though she's decided that talking won't do any good. This sounds unpleasantly cold to my ears. You did lots of stuff for me, Papa, so I'll do anything for you. Why don't you have your way with me? Well, I'm playing the Steam version, so I'm pretty sure I'm not actually gonna get the sex scene at all. If I had the unrated version, then I'd get it, but I'd have to do, like, plenty of censoring. Unless I want my whole stream to get taken down. Because then it would almost obviously for certain get taken down. Especially if a bot picks up on it and it's very good at just detecting what genitalia looks like. Then my stream would go down for sure. But I'm playing the Steam version, so that's going to be cut out. So they're going to have sex probably, and then we're just going to hear nothing about it. And then we're just going to move on to the next scene, right? Just like women want that sort of emotional connection and comfort level, men need the reasons and excuses to sleep with someone. Do you really need a reason to have sex with a girl? It's easy enough to take advantage of overwrought women, but it's sort of a matter of pride. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. With Makina being more vulnerable than ever, like her fucking bakery just got burned down. You have to wonder if maybe some creep would take advantage of her, probably. I have to wonder if she really exactly understands what she's saying when she says, I want you to sleep with me. Poor girl's been through a lot lately. If you sleep with a man just to distract yourself, you'll end up regretting it. I won't regret this. Even if I do, you can just say you told me so and laugh. As she speaks, Makina puts both her hands on the wooden floor and lurches unsteadily up off the ground. I can get it myself. I'm not a child. Isn't being pointlessly stubborn over things like that more than a little childish? I'm not a child. I'm not. Makina makes it to her feet, unsteady as a newborn foal, and leans back against the window with a thump. Then reaches her small, stubby hands to her collarbone, seizing the ribbon of her school uniform. I'm not a child, right? I see. Actually, I'm having a hard time following the logic here. The first word that comes to mind is underdeveloped. The band and bust have grown differently, producing the so-called triangular shape. To be blunt, she's got small breasts. If I were to yell, you're not making a convincing case here, kid, and deliver a karate chop to the dome of her head, this runaway train would probably come crashing to a halt. You gotta give the girl credit for her effort and courage, right? Taking in the spectacle, I nod my head in approval of nothing in particular. Hey, Papa, sleep with me. Only if you stop calling me Papa. I'd always known she was cheeky, but now she's actually trying to seduce me? Or maybe, you're not interested? Don't want to sleep with your daughter? I'll let you do anything you want, you know? I was wondering where this was coming from. Sounds like she might have gotten a few ideas from Amane. Probably. Shouldn't pass the buck. I'm the one who made her say all this. You really ready for this? When I pull her close, I feel Makina's warmth settle in my arms. After the last few days, it's already a familiar sensation. Holding the girl like this inspires both guilt at having finally made her mine and a new, surprisingly powerful awareness of her as a woman. Her shoulders are slender, her head small against my chest, not exactly voluptuous, and she doesn't make much of a pillow, but I can feel my determination to keep this soft little creature safe growing even more absolute. And then it just ends. There are 2 times when a woman will start making particularly unreasonable demands. The first is when she wants to confirm that a man loves her, and the second is when she's decided to leave that man. So what exactly did happen? Well, whatever it is, I'm probably not going to show it on YouTube. Most likely. I mean, I might be tempted to maybe react to the sex scenes in some capacity on one of these live streams, but obviously I can't show it. I'm not showing it, obviously. I'm pretty sure what happened last night with Makina falls into the latter category, so when I wake up to find she's no longer lying on my side, I'm not particularly flustered or even surprised. Yeah, the last time I found a sex scene in a visual novel, it was this really bad Doki Doki Literature Club mod, and yeah, of course, I was lucky that I managed to heavily censor it before I actually got to that point in the mod. Now, let's just say I definitely want a better sex scene than the one I got from the Monarch Start mod. Mudgy. Wow, you have a big dick. Mudgy, and what are you waiting? Level engine. Okay, come on! Mudgy, how good it feels. Mudgy, I come. Mudgy, oh, that was great. Level engine. OHH, good. I mean, it was bad enough even without the Siri voice, and then I put the Siri voice on. I almost just couldn't hold back tears. It was just that hilariously bad with the Siri voice. If anything, resign might be a better word. Most likely, Makina's decided not to trouble anyone, to go off and fight all alone. I talked pretty damn big about becoming her father, but in the end, I guess I couldn't do much of anything for the girl. Even so, maybe my presence in her life helped Makina find the courage to stand on her own like this. That pathetic, self-serving theory is my only comfort right now. Makina. When I mumble her name, there's a sharp twinge of loneliness in my chest. The thought of never feeling that small body settle onto my lap again makes me sigh out loud. If she's made up her mind to go, there's nothing I can do. If she's decided to confront them all on her own, it's not my place to interfere. But did you really have to vanish without saying a word? I'm not going to start complaining about something you decide on your own. I'm not thoughtless enough to try tagging along on a road you want to walk alone. Well, I mean, not that I want you to imitate a certain shaggy-headed German woman and write bye-bye on the window in lipstick or anything. Seems to remember that making me less sentimental and more irritated. But still, would it have killed you to say I'm going now to my back as I pretended to sleep or something? Shame the girl vanished before I could teach her that sort of romantic etiquette. The only thing the Makina's left behind in this room is a faint trace of her sweet body odor lingering in the air. Looking more closely, there's actually a few pieces of junk the girl seems to have carried in here at some point. Hadn't even noticed. When leaving a man's room, a woman's supposed to carefully gather up all her personal belongings and toss a single earring under the bed. Guess nobody explained that to her either. But I guess it's going to be a while before I can teach her anything again. My maudlin thoughts are interrupted by a shout from the lobby outside. I look up reflexively. This idiotic voice, completely wiping out the motivation of all who hear it. Thanks you for coming! Want a beer? You pig! Your phone's ringing! Hurry, pick up, you pig! Sure enough, a certain individual is rudely thumping away at a giant lump of wheat flour, keeping up a constant stream of abuse in the pidgin Japanese of a foreign hostess. Even in this dormitory, there aren't many people who'd keep up this sort of bizarre behavior first thing in the morning. Makina. Why? Were you going off to have a showdown with your mother? Or, you know, confront your destiny or whatever? You want more? Yes! You pig! Oh, dirty pig! You just bread! Bad bread! Dirty bread! As the girl vigorously assaults the flower while bathing it in the abuse, I call out to her small back. Hey, Makina. Mr. President going home already? Okay, goodbye. Thank you, come again! About face. Huh? Don't hunt me, kid. What are you snarling about? Surprise me there, if it isn't Mr. President. Since when was I president of anything? What are you doing out here? If you can't tell by looking, you won't even understand if I tell you, princess. Who the hell are you calling a princess? Anyway, it's just what it looks like. I'm kneading wheat flour while role-playing as an immigrant hostess. Calling something roleplay doesn't automatically make it kosher, kid. Most likely she's picked up that way of speaking from the hostesses that do their shopping down by the station, but that job at the bakery really seems to have expanded their sphere of relationships in some slightly weird directions. Hey, you're up for some bread, right? Hold on just a sec, okay? I'll bake a loaf right now. Cheerfully adding in by a sec, I mean it's gonna take an hour. Makina turns her back to me. Then she begins roughly chopping up the thoroughly degassed dough and rolling it into balls. Tell me something, Makina. Last night, you talked with your mother over the telephone, right? Yep, that's right. Are you not going to tell me the result? It's not like I was trying to keep it secret or anything, you know? She just said I didn't have to come back if I didn't want to, that's all. You don't have to go back. Is that really what she told you? Guess she's just given up on me by this point. You know, they say rumors only last 49 days and all, right? I betcha she just doesn't give a crap anymore. For one thing, the saying is 75 days. Oh, was it? Is this the time to be cackling like an idiot? Does she really think the problem's been resolved, that we can keep up this peaceful life? The idea is ridiculous. If the situation was simple enough to settle with a quick chat over the phone, things never would have gotten this bad in the first place. I'd love for this calm daily life to go on forever, but unfortunately, I've got a very strong premonition things are only going to get very much worse. And for whatever reason, my instincts are regrettably reliable when it comes to things like this. The phone vibrating in my chest pocket is my work cell. New email. From CO to 9029. An official communication to agent number 9029 from his case officer. In other words, a direct order from JB to me. And as for the contents of the message itself, present yourself at the main office, 1400 hours. Its two extremely blunt sentences conveying nothing but the when and where. I check the watch on my left arm. The current time's 12:12. I heave a single heavy sigh, then snap my cell phone shut and get to my feet. Being summoned to the office, I say. What are you talking about? It's lunchtime. I don't care about food. I wonder what he's being summoned to the office for. So what are you doing for lunch then? I'll just grab something from a convenience store or fast food place on the way. You can't wait 5 minutes even? I double-check my watch. 5 minutes or so wouldn't be a problem. Okay then, wait here. I'll make you a box lunch. Oh, that's not really... It'll just take a sec, okay? Hey. Well, that woman being pushy isn't anything new. No use fighting it this late in the game. Might as well just wait obediently and save myself trouble later. But 5 minutes later, Amani's not the one who shows up. Papa, you're going to work? Yeah, they called me in for a bit. Shouldn't take long, though. Why'd they call you in? Did you do something bad or what? Nothing really comes to mind. This happens all the time, though. Nothing to get worried about. Really? I don't want you doing anything dangerous behind my back, okay? It's fine. I said it's nothing to worry about, right? Yeah. That said, I was lying when I said nothing comes to mind. They probably got something to say about that little shooting incident at the Mishima Cape police station. Okay, I think I remember Yuji doing, like, the following. That was, like, last stream. When he confronted this group of criminals. So, like, he found, like, the leader of this small group of criminals. Fingerprinted his gun. Then just shot the gun at the police station while being careful not to get his own fingerprints on it. toss the gun in the bush, in a plan to just get the police to find the gun with the criminal's fingerprints on it. To just send the police after Otto. Thanks, what's inside? M9I4. So another melon bun. Super saturated. Yeah, permeated with saturated steam. It's a new method of baking the buns where you trap lots of moisture inside in the form of pressurized water vapor. The outside's crisp and crunchy, but inside it's moist and sticky. These things are pretty damn heavy. Unlike your normal buns, it's got a specific gravity of about 1.25. First melon bun in the industry to sink in water, you know? Not sure if I really understand the details, but sounds like quite the culinary experience. The texture is kind of like those mochi cakes with air bubbles inside, so make sure to chew carefully before you swallow or it might get stuck in your windpipe. Understood. Alright, I'll be on my way. Be careful, okay? Yeah. Since JB's actually called me into the office instead of communicating through email or telephone, this is probably going to be a fairly serious discussion. As a general rule, when an older woman gets an earnest look on her face and says we need to talk, nothing good's going to come of it. Getting to the building in question involves catching a civilian railway company train from Mission McCabe, transferring to Japan Railways in Shinagawa, then taking the subway from Yurakucho in Tokyo. Arriving at the station platform with some time to spare, I settle down on the bench and open the paper sack receipt from Makina. Inside, as promised, there's a number of bright yellow pastries. They're typical melon buns by appearance, but when I pick one up, it really is bizarrely heavy for its size. Taking the bun in both hands, I open my mouth wide and take a big bite. It's almost like crunching into a cookie and a bagel at once. Certainly a novel melon bun experience. The girl might be onto something. Alright, so why do we get summoned? Let's see. In other words, when I'm called into HQ, they're either angry with me, or they have an annoying job to foist off on me. Either way, it's nothing to look forward to. After arriving at my stop on the 4 line, I climb out of the subway, cross the bridge line with cherry blossom trees, and take the 4 to the police station towards Yasukuni Street. Within 5 minutes, our front gate comes into view. There's a guard in a smart blue uniform standing at the main entrance. Despite appearances, he's just a rent-a-cop from a private security firm. For what it's worth, there is a security station just inside staffed by actual company employees, but the tools hanging from their shoulders don't have any filling stuffed inside. Always makes me wonder why they feel the need to bother lugging those heavy things around in the first place. Maybe it's a religious thing. In any case, most of the defense systems actually protecting headquarters are outsourced to a variety of civilian security companies. The guards standing around the lobby are mostly for show, I'd expect. Nestled in the corner of a structure with the romantic name of C Building is the office of my beloved superior, Harudera Yuria, a section chief in the 2nd Division. Not exactly a spacious room, but since JB transferred in as a foreign capital, it was a hard-won prize. This office is a symbol of her successful struggle for a promotion from acting section chief to a formal command. A certain group of boorish individuals have been known to mock this room as a kennel, in reference to the work that goes on in here. But you need a pretty black sense of humor to laugh at that particular joke. Number 9029 reporting in. Even as I offer the standard greeting, my eyes briefly find the room's built-in security camera and confirm that it's currently active. At this characteristic bit of shrewdness on my part, maybe cowardice is the better word, JB gives a disdainful little snort and looks up at her clock. Timely as always. Well, go ahead and take a seat. This is like, what, the first time individual novel we actually got to see Julia? Want anything to drink? I'd appreciate that, thank you. Even though I'm talking to JB, this is the company's main office and I'm addressing my superior. Can't exactly give her the usual routine. I've always found that a little awkward, honestly. Probably one of the reasons I harbor a mild dislike for this room. JB picks up the telephone on her desk, combs up a stray lock of shaggy blonde hair, then presses the receiver to her left ear. Chiara, 2 coffees. Please. Yes, decaf for me. Even got yourself a secretary now, eh? Cheeky girl. Did you say something? Nothing at all. Perhaps you're hearing things, ma'am? You're making my skin crawl. When you use polite language with me, it just feels like mockery. Forget it, just talk normally. That certainly works for me. Please excuse me. With a few crisp words, a woman in a white uniform who's presumably JB's personal assistant enters the room. At a glance, she's maybe 24 years old. A good bit younger than JB. Her hair is an unusual silvery shade of grey, neatly trimmed, her skin's dark, and her pink painted lips are fairly thick. A good bit of African ancestry, but judging from the big bluish eyes behind her glasses, she's probably mixed race. Couldn't guess her nationality just to look at her. Guess you could call that a fairly representative trait for those in this particular posting. Here you are. The personal assistant places the coffee cup on the table in front of me, her face blank and uninviting. Are you 9029? Yeah. I've been working under that designation for the last few years. Would you mind letting me shake your hand? The woman holds out her hand with a smile you'd almost think she learned from a textbook, but her eyes hold more than a bit of skepticism. The number 9029 has a special significance within this organization. Understandable enough to feel a little dubious about the legendary agent in question being a brat like me. How many people have had the 9029 before you? Thank you, Chiara. You may leave the room. Also, if you don't mind, maybe we could take a photo later? Chiara, leave the room. Okay. Alright then, see you around. Your secretary's got a pretty big ass. What kind of an impression is that? An attempt at sarcasm? Not particularly. Just a straightforward expression of my observations. That's sexual harassment, you know. A superior using the word sexual harassment as a weapon to intimidate men is power harassment, my friend. You're never at a loss for words, are you? You think? Back in the day, a certain blonde used to complain about me, not even answering when spoken to. I guess people really can change. Ignoring JB's incensed glare with a composure born of long experience, I take the paper coffee cup by its cardboard sleeve and bring it to my mouth. Pretty good. Common joke that an officer's field orderly learns more about making coffee than anything else, but it seems there might be a bit of truth to it. And tell me, why'd you come over in your school uniform, of all things? We're willing to pay for some decent clothes, you know. Too much of a pain to get changed, that's all. Just a polite fiction, of course. I'm not quite that lazy. But honestly speaking, even if they bought me some Grisaia or Versace or whatever... Isn't it Versace? There's no way I'd be able to pull the look off. For one thing, JB. Last time they forced me into a suit to get an updated photo for our internal records, I seem to remember you shouting, "Looks like someone's got a big date for the middle school prom. Ho 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 ho." You didn't call me here to criticize my fashion sense, right? Can we get to the point? Yeah, get to the point. Swatting down in a way that affords me fleeting glimpses of her thighs. Get to the point! Don't look over here, alright? Not to worry, if I feel the need for a little eye candy, I'll just take another look at that secretary's rear end before I head home. Okay, not what I was talking about. I'm telling you not to memorize the combination. Not to worry. I'm not so starved for female company as to get turned on by a hunk of metal. Not what I meant! Arg! You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Right, just a joke. Listening to your jokes is enough to throw off my menstrual cycle. You'll save big on rubbers. Enough! Okay, here. Can you still screw around after seeing this? Yeah, get to the point! The envelope she thrusts violently before my eyes bears a red stamp reading fax copying strictly prohibited. When I open it, I find an official order document identified by a serial number. The paper's specially coded. A standard fax or copy machine won't even pick up the characters. On top of which, after a certain period of time, the words will fade away to illegibility all on their own. In other words, I can tell, even without glancing at the details, that this is an extra departmental order. Perfectly official, but completely off our books. The sort of thing that absolutely can't come to light. Again, huh? This isn't the first time I've gotten orders like these. I've had several of these envelopes handed to me, and without fail, their contents have always been assassination missions. high-ranking drug cartel bosses, corrupt politicians with dangerous political leanings. There's quite a difference in terms of social position and status, but individuals or groups determined by the collective will of the nation to pose a significant disadvantage to its interests are quietly, secretly removed from the stage. The nail that stands out gets pounded down, as they say. In an assassination of that sort, sniping is a fairly common method. Typically, several shooters are assigned to the same task. As with the firing squad, it's an attempt at easing the conscience by making it impossible to know who fired the killing shot, but even so, murder is murder. Hey, JB. I can't kill people anymore. You know that, right? Of course I do. After all, it's the reason you ended up on reserve duty. Fundamentally, I'm a coward, participating in assassinations. When it comes to taking human lives, I'll hesitate just as much as a normal person. No matter what kind of evil, worthless scum I'm looking at through my scope. My finger freezes up for a moment when I try to pull the trigger. That's a fatal defect for a sniper. Even so, when my master was alive, I managed to kill without thinking too much. When I told myself I was pulling the trigger in Asako's place, when I told myself that even a piece of garbage like me could be useful to Asako this way, I could fire without worrying about a thing. Alright, so who are we killing? But Asako's gone. The person who bore the curses of the dead in my place is gone now, and she can't be replaced, unless the words come from someone who stained their hands with blood. They can't offer me the slightest discomfort. JP, I'm sorry, but you're not good enough. You know that perfectly well yourself, don't you? A sniper who can't pull the trigger is right up there with a radio that can't make a sound in the irritating, useless junk department. That's a good part of the reason I ended up on reserve in the first place. Why would you even bother showing me this now? Calm down and look at the name of our mark. What? I'm gonna guess it's Makina's mom, right? Target. Irisu Makina. Hey! What is this? It's exactly what it looks like. The target of this mission is a classmate attending your own school, Irisu Makina. You can't be serious! What the hell's going on? Don't pry into the reasons. That's part of your job as well. Why would Makina be... Who's the client? I don't know that myself, but there's certainly no need for you to know either. In the end, I'm only middle management, passing on instructions from the top to the pawn such as yourself. And you simply obey these orders, or am I wrong? So, is JB actually making him go through with this, or no? And didn't she tell Yuji earlier not to disobey a single order she gave him? Pretty tough spot to be in, I'll admit. JB brought me this job knowing full well that I can't kill. Knowing about my relationship with Makina, now we really can't kill. At this rate, this girl's definitely going to be erased one way or the other. Is JB telling me that I should be the one to do it? That if Makina has to die, me dispatching her personally would be the kindest way? Or maybe this whole summons is nothing but a facade, and JB's sole objective was to tip me off to the threat to Makina's life in the form of an order? Whatever the case, I can't keep my shock from showing on my face. Why is this happening? Resisting the urge to grind my teeth, I lower my gaze to the docket in my hand. The field where the issuer of the order would usually be named is blank, but nonetheless there are 3 stamps of authorization below. A tripartite order? This sort of shady job usually comes with Akasaka's approval alone, but this time we got the full set. In other words, the mission was undertaken on the mutual agreement of Akasaka, Ishigaya, and Kasumi Gaseki. Definitely not something you see every day. That's how it is. In other words, we can take a fairly flashy approach if necessary. Everyone will cover for us. Why are you showing this thing to me? You know perfectly well, don't you? As this mission was authorized by Akasaka, I'm required to prepare the very best and most appropriate talent available to me. So does JB want Yuji to kill Makina or no? You want me to kill a classmate with my own hands? You got some nerve, you shaggy-headed, dim-witted. If telling me off improves your mood, then feel free to say whatever you want. However, you want a clear yes or no, right? Exactly. Although it should probably go without saying, for a mission carried out with this level of secrecy, you're not typically going to get a briefing on the specifics before you accept the job. When the plan's going to be executed, where it'll be put into operation, who's participating, how many teams will be committed. You don't know a single thing in advance. Once you've listened to the plan in full, saying "I think I'll pass after all" isn't going to fly. In the first place, an agent only needs to understand their specific job. The broader circumstances aren't any of our concern. When you're a piece on the board, only two things are requested of you: the willingness to do what you're told and the ability to make it happen. Your personal circumstances aren't worth shit. There's no compromise option. It's yes or no, one or the other. What an unpleasant expression. Staring into my face, JB mumbles the words quietly. At the moment, I probably got the look of someone who's spotted loathsome insects scuttling along the floor and crushing them motionlessly. An unattractive mixture of disgust and cold-blooded cruelty. It's an expression you get used to after spending enough time in this company. The expression of someone enduring injustice, resigned to ugly reality. The expression of an agent. There are two choices open to you. Will you undertake the assassination of Makina, or will you pretend to have seen nothing and leave this room immediately? Do I have to make that choice right now? Due to the nature of the mission, I can't exactly allow you to go home for the day and think the matter over. All the more so, given that you're currently residing in the same facility as the target. If you were to refuse participation in the job at this point, we'd have to take you into custody for the time being. Well, yeah, I'd imagine so. In other words, the moment I saw that document, the number of options available to me was essentially reduced to one. The answer is yes. A wise decision. A tinge of relief in her voice. JB softly exhales the air in her lungs, then peers into my eyes as though searching for some reassurance of my loyalty. Can you swear that on the stars and stripes? Yeah, I'll swear it on the flag. Alright. In that case, you can leave for today. I'll contact you as soon as the details are decided. Understood. So how is he going to break the news to Makina that he's essentially been forced to kill her? Number 9029, resuming normal post on semi-alert status. JB averts her eyes from my steady gaze slightly, briefly glancing at the surveillance camera installed in the corner of her office. Yeah, just think, if he would have said no, then obviously Makina's life would still be in danger and Yuji wouldn't be able to do anything about it. He'd just be stuck in custody until, of course, Makina gets killed. Assumably. Possibly even longer. So I kinda just had to say yes. Well then, what to do? I'd been prepared for something ugly, but not to suddenly find myself placed on the side of those hunting Makina. That's not the current situation was completely outside the realm of my speculation. Considering the power and influence of the Irisu family, I'd vaguely hypothesized a scenario like this might be a possibility. Most likely, Akasaka is playing a large role in this one. Uncle Sam, the father of post-war Japan, kindly allowed us to develop wealth and influence under the banner of freedom and democracy. And the people running the show in Nagata-cho still haven't managed to move out of Dad's basement. I glanced at the watch on my left wrist. 14:23. Seems that meeting in JB's office actually took less than 30 minutes. Coming to a halt a little ways before the bridge I crossed on my way here, I glanced over at an outpost of a certain hamburger-peddling multinational corporation. This sort of food isn't bad every once in a while. Muttering this blatantly artificial comment to no one in particular, I enter the fast food restaurant. Then make straight for the register, ordering the company's namesake burger, a side of french fries, and a nice coffee. I don't care what you go and eat for lunch. I just want to know how the rest of the story is going to play out. Like, how is Yuji going to find his way out of this one? I don't care what he goes to eat for lunch. Among them, I noticed a businessman of some sort standing in front of the bridge with his shirt sleeves rolled up and a jacket tucked under one arm. He's pressing a cell phone to his ear, obsequiously bowing his head over and over, talking to his boss or a client. Either way, he won't be hanging around there for too long. Eventually, a member of the restaurant's floor staff comes over with my food on a plastic tray, exchanging it for the ticket in my hand. After I eat my burger. Not bad, more or less sums it up. Once I've washed down the overly juicy hamburger with my iced coffee, I quickly shovel the french fries into my mouth, then put my tray away and promptly leave the restaurant. 7 minutes in there. Damn, that was fast. Once I ascend to the appropriate platform and walk all the way to the far end, boarding the very first car of the subway train that arrives with perfect timing, Since it's early afternoon, the subway isn't exactly crowded. I only count 6 passengers in the lead car, including myself. Ignoring the numerous empty seats, I turn around, open the door in the back of the carriage, and make my way into the next car. And there I find... Thought so. The man who'd been kowtowing into his phone by the burger place seems to have caught this train as well. He's wearing the jacket formerly under his arm, and his formerly swept back hair is now parted horizontally, and it's definitely him. The man catches his breath for a moment when I meet his eyes, but after I offer him a quick smile and nod, he jerks up one side of his mouth and furrows his brow in an expression of wry resignation. Guess it's only what you'd expect. The company might have allowed me to go home, but they're not quite soft enough to let me wander off alone. Under the circumstances, it's only natural to have someone keeping an eye on me. Would you mind if I take that seat? Go ahead. There are empty seats all over the train, but I settle myself down right next to the man. This way, he won't have to bother pretending to read a newspaper while shooting me little glances out of the corner of his eye. A little gesture of professional courtesy on my part. Leaning back next to my new friend, I sink calmly into thought while pretending to study an advertising monitor above the exit. Since my immediate orders were to stand by, it's probably safe to assume there's going to be a few days of preparation before Makina's assassination is carried out. I want to believe they're going to approach this very carefully. One day on standby. One day for us to learn and absorb the details of the operation. One day for ordering and provisioning the necessary equipment and machinery. One day for general review and familiarizing ourselves with the equipment. Even estimating fairly generously, I've gained 4 days at the longest. If I had turned down the job, the company would have simply locked me down and given it to another agent. I bought myself a little time here, and now I need to use it to find a way out of this mess. That said, given the current situation, I'm not going to find the answers no matter how thoroughly I think this over. I'm suffering from an obvious and crippling lack of information. I can't even see my enemies. There's no harder way to fight a battle. How long have I been live for again? Almost an hour. Okay. Nice. The man who'd been sitting at my side, apparently finding the experience extremely awkward, removed himself from the train at the very first station stop. There wasn't any sign of someone taking his place afterward. On the whole, my return to Misha Cape went off surprisingly smoothly, but... guess not quite that easy. There's an unfamiliar motorcycle parked along the street near the entrance to the shopping district. Although the bike itself looks like it's fresh off the lot. The license plate on the back is noticeably battered and worn. Probably a special plate that's seen service on a number of vehicles over the years. Earning those paychecks, I see. Judging from the resources they've committed to surveillance, the client must be pretty on edge. Speaking of that client of ours, there are several points I'm having a difficult time getting my head around there. First and foremost, why have they suddenly decided Makina needs to die at this point? Considering we're talking about someone connected enough to request a job from our company, it's hard to believe they couldn't have arranged something like this a long time ago. Until now, Makina's enemies have been content to keep her stuffed away in a corner like a worthless employee too troublesome to fire. Even when she pokes her head out of the cage, they're limiting themselves to warnings, however blunt. So what's prompted this casual change in policy to an outright assassination? I can't understand why this client's allowed Makina to live until now. Why they've only now decided to kill her. Something must have changed. There must be some reason they can't afford to worry about appearances anymore. If I could only identify that reason. I have a feeling I might be able to devise some counter-strategies as well, but in the first place, who exactly is our enemy here? I think this is one question Makina herself wouldn't be able to answer, even if I were to explain the situation to her. Since they got Akasaka off its ass, we're talking about a group or individual with significant power on the global scale. Obviously, they're involved with the Irisu somehow, but the nation itself won't move its heavy buttocks for private interests. 3 stamps suggest the involvement of someone in the Pentagon, or maybe a shot from the NSA? Whatever the exact details, this is without a doubt turning into a proxy war against an extremely problematic opponent. Kazami-san, welcome home. I'm glad to see you back so soon. Hey Sachi, what's Makina up to? She recently polished off 3 pancakes or so as an afternoon snack and is currently enjoying a postprandial rest. Taking a siesta, huh? Yes, shall I wake her up? Oh, that's alright. Might as well let her sleep. Very well. Anything happened while I was gone? Now that you mention it. An envelope addressed to you was delivered fairly recently. It's standard Asahi clean stationery. Who brought this over exactly? My name's written on the envelope, but there's no address or post office stamp. We generally don't make a policy of entrusting internal documents to middlemen like the Postal Service. Someone from the company must have brought it directly. I do apologize, but I didn't think to ask for the man's name. I believe it was most likely an employee from a motorcycle messenger service. Ah, I see. Motorbike messengers are right up there with taxi drivers as a popular side job at Ichigaya. The delivery man was almost certainly a coworker of mine. Actually, come to think of it, I'm impressed you even got him to hand it over. Normally speaking, any internal document, let alone something that go out of your way to transport via sneakernet, would be designated direct delivery only, but here we are. Yes, at first, the gentleman was quite stubborn about being required to deliver this to the addressee in person. However, when I then stated in that case I won't move from this spot until you change your mind, after 15 minutes he agreed to trust it to me. Just a guess here, but I'm thinking that delivery man had been planning to wait for my return out by the main gate or something. Probably wasn't expecting to deal with an expressionless woman in full maid uniform standing rigidly at his side like a diminutive Buckingham Palace guard. That man might well have tried to be considerate. Probably told Sachi, "It's fine, I'll take care of it," or asked, "Why don't you at least sit down?" This, of course, would have earned nothing but a curt "no thank you" as the perfectly stationary girl continued to bore into him with her steady, unblinking gaze. That's pretty much just the way Komine Sachi's personality works, but, well, I can understand how it might seem a little more than creepy to an outsider. Probably broke under the sheer psychological pressure, although only lasting 15 minutes is pretty damn pitiful any way you look at it. For some reason, the gentleman began scratching violently at his head with both hands. I shouted, "Arg, fine, you want it that bad? Just take it," in an almost desperate tone of voice. Did I perhaps do something wrong? More importantly, was the man riding a new black-looking motorcycle an acquaintance of yours? That's not it. Just noticed this unfamiliar motorcycle stopped at the entrance to the shopping district, so I was wondering if it might have been him. I see. So we switched right over to surveillance after dropping off the documents to me? If the guy can get worn out by Sachi here, it's probably a pretty damn green new part-timer, but an observer with that kind of mobility is still somewhat troublesome. In any case, the envelope got to me in the end. Thanks, Sachi. Of course, I'm quite pleased to be of service. A delivery from the company right now almost certainly has something to do with the assassination we just discussed, but the envelope's strangely thick. From what Sachi told me, the messenger stopped by about an hour and a half ago, at the time I was still in JB's office. In other words, the woman could have handed these to me herself if she wanted to. So why go out of your way to use an employee to deliver them? I guess the simplest explanation would be they didn't want to hand over too much intelligence on the spot, in case I decide to refuse my orders. No point speculating until I've at least taken a look at the contents. This is... The thick sheaf of A4 paper that emerges from the envelope is covered in dense arrays of tiny characters, as if deliberately designed to crush the reader's willpower before they've even begun. There's only one person I know who goes around making reports this maliciously dense. JB, huh? The bundle of papers as thick as one of those weekly manga tomes. As I begin a preliminary flip-through, skimming past lengthy sentences embodying JB's over-serious German personality, several bolded phrases quickly catch my eye. The prosperity of the Irisu clan, light and shadow. Irisu Makina, birth to the present day. Extra departmental order, number 11847, detailed plan. Well, shit. Okay, no wonder she couldn't hand it over directly. This looks like a grab bag of highly restricted material. Even the people directly involved in organizing the job probably don't have access to such a comprehensive rundown of the facts. Some of the documents in this thing are clearly marked removal and copying strictly prohibited. As a whole, this is dangerously outside the range of what JB's permitted to spread around on her personal initiative. What the hell is that woman thinking? However, it's clear the majority of information I need is hiding in this bundle of paper. To be honest, it's the best gift I could have hoped for right now. Why show me all this? Just what do you expect me to do, JB? Putting that aside, it seems like it'll take 2 or 3 days just to read it all. Well, whatever. I'm a chronic insomniac anyway, so it shouldn't be hard to find the time. If nothing else, a decent sleep aid's always appreciated. I take out some oolong tea from the fridge, and drink deeply and loudly straight from the bottle. For the first time leaving JB's office, I feel halfway human again. With a deep sigh, I drop myself down onto the floor, then focus my attention on the first document of many. I guess JB was trying to paint as detailed a picture as possible. There's a fair amount of information that looks irrelevant at first glance, to the point where documents seem overly long. But as I continue reading, I find myself realizing that she's carefully foreshadowed critical events, providing background naturally bit by bit instead of dumping it all on the reader at once. It's actually a pretty ingenious structure and surprisingly readable considering the dense material. Before I know it, I've spent several hours with my eyes glued to the pages, poring over the documents one after another. When a knock comes on my door, I'm surprised to find it's already past 7 o'clock. Dinner's already, you know! Amani says to come to her room! Yeah, I'll be right there. Quickly gathering up the stack of paper I've been leafing through, I stashed it away deep inside my rucksack. Papa! So guess what? Today we're having sweet and sour pork, you know? But since you hate meat and all, we ditched the pigs and went with some nice chewy deep-fried potatoes. It's really friggin' good! What's wrong? Not a sweet and sour pork fan? There's no pineapple in there, you know? That's not it. It's just, well, nothing big. It's not as though there's really any need to hide the truth, but seeing the main character of the non-fiction novel I've just been reading appear before my eyes inspires a strong wave of guilt. Trying to disguise those feelings, I drop a hand on Makina's head with a firm thump. What? What's up? Your head's a little damp, kid. Just out of the bath or something? Yeah. There's a TV show I want to watch later, so I went in early today. Oh right, today's Professor Dave Day. You betcha! Today Dave's getting bitten by a snake, you know? Watch it with me, Papa. Sure, but let's eat first. My head feels unpleasantly heavy, probably because I've been reading JB's documents all this time. Not to say that I'm physically tired or unwell, it's pure psychological weight. Learning the details of this girl's past was a harsher burden than I expected. Okie dokie. Sorry to keep you waiting. Here's your sweet and sour pork. Hold the pork. Looks pretty tasty. I know, right? I put all my skills into these, you know. Go on, dig in. Hey there. Don't start smirking like you made this all by yourself. You just helped out a little here and there, remember? But... I'm the one who made the chewy fried potato dumplings, you know? Sure, you needed the potatoes around and all, but... if anything, didn't you spend more time hovering around and popping them in your mouth every time I actually fried one? I seem to remember making 12 pieces, but for some reason there's only 8 left. Wonder how that happened. Oh... but they were really friggin' tasty. Well, hardly a big deal, right? There you go again, spoiling the girl rotten. Guess you're right. Amani didn't really need to point that out. I'm perfectly aware that I'm being more than a little soft on Makina right now. Sachi wasn't wrong the other day. This girl really does have a past that can change the way you see her. Once you know the facts, it's impossible not to look at her with sympathy in your eyes. And knowing that your pity will only make the girl feel even more miserable, you end up trying not to look at all. Makina probably kept the details of her past to herself precisely because she didn't want to deal with that sort of awkwardness in her relationships here. Just looking into the face of a friend who's learned the truth would be painful. However, it's now absolutely necessary that I understand Makina's past down to the smallest details. And in turn, she needs to know what I've learned. That's just basic courtesy. That said, how exactly am I supposed to bring something like this up? But soon enough, this girl's straightforward personality solves that problem for me. What were you reading all afternoon anyway? Documents about your past. My past? Yeah, that's right. Well, guess I don't mind. Not if it's you, Papa. I mean, heck. I would have told you if you just asked. I'll check with you if there's something I don't understand in there. Can I ask you one question? Is that why you've been weirdly nice to me lately? No. I think that's just a result of me sleeping with you. Men always treat women weirdly nice after they've made love for the first time. No kidding? Okay then, it's all good. Seriously? So hey, if I let you sleep with me again, will you get even nicer? I think not. If I spoil you any more than this, you'll go completely rotten in no time. Lame, man. To yourself, kid. Anyway, wasn't there something you wanted to watch on television? Oh, indeed! Gotta watch my Dave! Okay then, Papa. Let me use your lap as a pillow. What? You want to watch lying down? You're really willing to spoil me that much, right? Proper posture is important when you're watching television. And you're just going to fall asleep if you lie down, aren't you? Come, let's not sweat the small stuff, okay? Yeah? Here we go. And camping on the sofa next to me with the confident pushiness of a girl disinclined to take no for an answer. Makina drops her head casually onto my lap, then flips on the TV with the remote in her hand. I do feel like I might be getting a little too soft on the girl at this point, but I can't really bring myself to object too strongly. Probably more evidence of the effect reading those documents had on me. Your weekly dose of amazing animals is coming right up! As promised, today's show is a special on the slithery snake! Dave, clad in his usual rough attire, makes his way down a richly verdant rural road with a giant smile on his face. Have you all heard of the 100-pacer snake? One bite from that guy, and they say you're dead within 100 steps. A very fearsome snake. But today I'm here in Vietnam, home to a reptile known locally as the two-step snake. As you might guess just from the name, its potent venom supposedly kills within just 2 strides. Today, let's get to know that snake! So he's gonna get bitten by that snake and still survive. How do you suppose he's going to go about that? Unless, I don't know, it's faked. How's that? Pretty scary stuff, right? The venom itself might not be that strong. But what makes the two-step snake so terrifying is the huge amount it can pump into you at once. Alright then. Today I'm visiting a snake farm. They're raising 2,000 snakes of 80 different species in here. As Dave points ahead with a triumphant grin, the camera turns to find local staff from the snake farm, casually releasing a sizable serpent, then giving it a few pokes with a frayed bamboo stick. The animal seems none too pleased. And this here is the two-step snake himself. What do you think of that? Pretty terrifying, right? Look like he's already pretty agitated. Okay, let's get right to it. Time to get bitten! Why does this guy always seem to enjoy the getting bitten part so much? More importantly, didn't he just say the venom can kill you in seconds flat? I'm not following the logical progression here. Yeah, me neither. Ouch! Grabbing the shin of his right leg where the animal bit him, Dave rolls around on the ground in exaggerated fashion. Oh, that hurts. That hurts like crazy. This is bad. This guy's the real deal. As opposed to what? An imposter? Of course it's going to hurt you of course it's going to hurt if you let the thing bite you. What's with this show anyway? Sometimes I feel like it's less of an animal documentary and more of an entertainment show for bloodthirsty children to cackle at Dave's reactions. The local staff members quickly administer anti-venom, but Dave's leg grows bright violet nonetheless within minutes. It's swollen up to several times its normal thickness. This certainly does look pretty damn bad. I mean, seriously. Shouldn't somebody stop Dave for his own good? I can't help voicing my thoughts out loud, but Makina doesn't react. Makina? The girl's eyes are shut. Her soft, regular breathing suggests she's fallen asleep in my lap. No wonder she's been strangely quiet lately. I told you so, kid. Okay, so is Dave gonna be okay? Fortunately, the DVR saves the program. Guess the girl had Sachi set up to automatically start recording this time every week. Mew. Makina's mouth flops loosely open and closed, emitting meaningless babble that doesn't even rise to the level of sleep talking. Honestly, it's pretty cute in a way. Guess it couldn't hurt to let her sleep a little longer. It'll probably get annoying if Michiru happens to wander by, but... if I was worried about my dignity or whatever, it'd be easy enough just to lower the girl's head off my lap. Maybe even carry her up to her room. That's probably the least problematic choice here. Still, I choose not to do so. Mostly because the weight and warmth of Makina's body feels surprisingly pleasant. I don't really understand why I've come to feel this way about her, but then again, my master didn't understand the reason she took me in until the day she died. Come to think of it. Not exactly sure when, but... There was a time I asked Amane why she was going out of her way to look after an aggravating little pest like Makina. That's kind of a hard question, actually. There had to be some reason you started, right? A reason? A reason, huh? Well, I guess you could say there was, sort of. I mentioned how Makina falls asleep when she goes into the bath by herself, right? I remember you saying that. Well, we found out the hard way. Not long after she transferred into this school, the girl nodded off in there and ended up nearly drowning. So I started to go in with her, but when I started taking baths with Makina, I noticed something that surprised me a little. Like what? The girl had this totally weird way of wringing out her towel. Like, she'd just roll it up into this little ball and squeeze it really hard between her hands. Normally, you just fold a bath towel over twice and then twist it to get the water out, right? The girl didn't know how to do that. When I saw that, I started thinking, what kind of a life had this girl been living up until now? Didn't she have anyone to teach her this before? That sort of thing. And I guess I got this idea in my head that teaching her that stuff might be my job now. And that's when I started looking after Makina, I think. So I guess it'd be the spark, if anything was that small a thing. I mean, I'm not saying that's all it was. A bunch of little things like that sort of piled up before I knew it. But it's not like I backed into the job reluctantly, you know. It wasn't just inertia. I mean, sure, I did kind of think Makina was a pain in the butt at first. But I kept spending all this time with her, piling up all those normal, small, everyday moments, and one day it just came to me. I get it. I love this kid. Well, Maka and I are both girls, so I don't think it's a romantic feeling or anything, but it's true. One day, completely out of the blue, I realized that I really cared about her. And once I admitted that to myself, everything got nice and simple, you know? Didn't have to wonder about why I was bothering to do all this stuff for her. I see. Falling in love without even realizing it isn't rare at all. Might as well just admit it, Yuji. You've already fallen for me, yes? Okay, now you've lost me, and spare me the woman. You can fall in love with someone without even realizing it. Until you notice the simple truth, it's impossible to come to terms with your own emotions. The question, is this really how it should be, rolls around your head over and over. But by now I found my answer. Looking down at the girl quietly sleeping on my lap, I find myself once again recalling the documents I spent the afternoon reading. The house Makina was born into, the Irisu clan, is built on a long and unbroken tradition of corruption and avarice. A fat parasitic cancer on the body politic with roots reaching down to the bone. Just among the papers I looked over today, there were credible references to embezzlement, fraudulent budget inflation, and insider trading related to government projects. And that's just scratching the surface. Among the leaders of this clan, Irisu Masataka was the one and only individual of genuine integrity. The man married into the family, so he'd been kept outside the loop at first, but after Makina's birth, he'd brushed against the darkness at the core of the Irisu, and realized he'd been integrated into a profoundly evil machine. Uncomfortable with the clan's amoral dealings, Mr. Masataka tried incredibly hard to move the Irisu onto a straighter path, motivated in no small part by concern for his newborn daughter. And then he got murdered. And when Mr. Masataka laid hands on proof of the Irisu's secrets and crimes, the family severed him from itself like a lizard shedding its tail. It was an elaborately planned assassination using his love for Makina against them. You might say the girl was his Achilles' heel. Makina was abducted in a sham kidnapping planned by her own relatives, used as bait to lure out our father. Yeah, right, we already heard like bits and pieces of this backstory. Mr. Masataka swallowed their deception hook, line, and sinker. He went to negotiate with the kidnappers, bearing a 120 million yen ransom, and was murdered before his daughter's eyes. He was an honest and timid man by nature, just as the criminals had demanded. He went to the meeting without telling anyone the situation. And he died for that mistake. Up until that point, everything went off exactly according to the Irisu leadership's plan. Their one and only slip-up was leaving the execution of the kidnapping to men from the Branch family. The Branch family had been entrusted with cleaning up the main house's messes ever since their incorporation into the Irisu. The leadership pushed this job onto them without a second thought, a decision that complicated matters. Estimating that their faction could gain dramatically if the main family successor candidate was to disappear along with her father, the kidnappers took a gamble, and left Makina in the warehouse when they escaped. The girl spent a week tied to a pillar next to her father's corpse before she was finally discovered. Unfortunately, these events took place in the summer. The body began to change rapidly and soon started to emit a foul stench. The psychological stress of watching her father rot, combined with the physical stress of hunger and dehydration, left Makina in a truly terrible state by the time she was rescued. Afterwards, she spent 6 long years shut up in a hospital under the Branch family's control, tormented by severe PTSD symptoms and other complications. You went through a hell of a lot, kid. As I mutter the words, my eyes returned to the girl sleeping on my lap. There were tears running down her face. Makina. Do I just put this down for now and pick it up, like, maybe tomorrow? If I have to take a guess as to what's coming next, maybe it's Makina's nightmare? Or a nightmare, sort of recollection of what happened? Maybe we get to actually just see Makina's point of view as, like, the dad was murdered and started decomposing. Yeah, so then I don't know if I'm gonna want to do it like this stream or maybe just wait till next stream. What kind of a dream is she seeing right now? One that I probably don't want to see myself. No matter how harsh the reality, surely it's not too much to hope the girl might find some happiness when she falls asleep. I don't think so. This is a dream. A dream I've seen many, many times. A dream that brings nothing but pain and sadness. Hey there, thanks for stopping by, Irisu Masataka-san. You did listen to what I told you on the phone, right? Didn't tell anyone where you were going, hmm? Of course, I didn't say a word to my wife, let alone the police. More importantly, where's my daughter? Please, give Makina back. I brought the money, just as you said. I just noticed now. Makina doesn't even look that much older now than like what she looks like in this flashback here, like in this terrible nightmare. Let's not get all flustered here. Your daughter's right over there. Might have a few scrapes on her cheeks and knees, but other than that, she's fine. Matter of fact, we just ordered the pizza a little while ago. Figure we shouldn't let her go hungry or anything. Feel free to have a few slices yourself. Makina! Papa! Ooh, whoops, slow down there, Masataka-san. We need to get a look at that money first, you know? We're on the job here ourselves. Oh, but don't worry about the pizza. I'll cover that out of my pocket. Yeah, the daughter's expensive. Yeah, the pizza's free, but they're gonna kill you on the cost of the daughter, though. More importantly, did you bring us what we asked for? 2 million in used small bills? There are 2 suitcases in there. That's all the money I'm capable of moving freely. Do whatever you want with it. Yeah, right then. Guess we'll just take a look at that. Hey, check the money. Yes, sir. Makina, are you alright? Any injuries? Look, I'm telling you to hold your horses, okay? Pretty damn hasty, aren't you? Just sit back and relax and we're done counting the money. Want a drink or something? I mean, we've only got beer and Diet Cola, but hey. Boss! God Christ, don't scream in my ear. Look, it made me spill my beer. This jackass only cares about his beer. There just isn't enough money in here. The hell? Why not? How much we got in there? 120 G's. And then a bunch of weird slips of paper or something. Slips of paper? Okay, what's going on here, Masataka-san? I really appreciate a satisfactory explanation, like, right now. You people only called me last night, you know? I explained several times over the phone that I couldn't possibly prepare that kind of money on such short notice. Well, yeah. Sure. I know I was asking... unreasonable there, but I asked you to find a way to make it happen, didn't I? I seem to remember you saying you'd manage something, right? But now you waltz in here with, what, 120 grand? Is that all your daughter's worth to you? The most we could give you back for this is a single arm. Hold on. I brought you 1.5 million in bonds. Wait. Are you for real, Masataka-san? I said we wanted cash, and instead you bring bonds? Bonds? Saike? Is this some kind of joke? How am I supposed to turn this crap into money? If we try selling these things off, your investment advisors aren't exactly going to keep their mouths shut, are they? Don't worry. They're unregistered bonds, completely anonymous. It's much safer than a check. That's really not the problem here. You just don't get it, do you? So, did they kill him because they didn't get enough money, or... were the kidnappers going to kill the dad no matter what, even if he just brought, like, the whole 120 million yen in cash? Were they going to kill him anyways? Because I would probably suppose, yes, they were probably going to kill him no matter what. Look, you understand what I'm telling you? I didn't want to admit it, but we're a pair of country hicks, okay? You're acting like one of those idiots who pulls into a drive-thru in some backwoods road in Texas, whips out a gold card and says, credit, okay? You know, am I right? But this really is the best I can do. I don't want to hear your goddamn excuses, buddy. We're not playing around here. How much money do you think we blew kidnapping this kid, huh? Ah, shit. Now I'm just pissed off. Boss, take a look at that. Huh? What about the damn TV? Aren't those people they're showing right now from the Irisu family? Dad and his daughter are going through hell out here, but the rest of the family's having a nice evening at some classical concert. Lifestyles of the rich and fucking famous, I swear. Masataka-san, looks like you really didn't say a word to your wife, huh? I really like that stupidly honest personality of yours, my friend. Figured with a nice trustworthy guy like you, this job would go nice and easy. No muss and fuss, you know? But instead, you go and bring us 120 puny grand on some scraps of paper. Talk about a fucking letdown. This shit isn't even worth discussing, right? Well? Oh, this can't be. That's my line, buddy! Are you even listening to me here? What? Wait a second. The people on that screen are your family, right? Gramps, Grandma, and your wife? Well, so far so good, yeah. But who's this man walking next to your wife and the little girl holding their hands? This can't be real. What? Ah. I see. Ah. I see, that's how it is. You've been abandoned, right? And those two are the substitutes? Ah, now it makes sense. You and her little girl there just got 86, huh? Brings a tear to my eye. This can't be. Well, I think you've got an idea yourself of the reason why, don't you? Ruffled a few too many feathers with that guilty conscience of yours. Pushed back a little too hard against the Irisu way of doing business. Basically, from the clan's point of view, a pig-headed boy scout like you is a nasty little pimple just begging to get killed. Stop it. Don't talk about this in front of the child. Come on, no big deal, right? Since it's come to this. How about you just let me have that evidence of corruption you supposedly got your hands on? That way I'll be able to get a little extra scratch from the Irisu to make up for this half-assed excuse for a ransom, yeah? Is that what you were after from the start? Well, I gotta admit we did consider it beforehand, but if you'd given us the money we asked for, it would have been necessary, you know? How about it? Want to hand over that evidence or whatever to me? The hell you got to brood about, huh? That cold-hearted excuse for a family just abandoned you and your girl. And now they're all enjoying themselves at a concert for Chris' sakes. You don't owe them a damn thing. Look, buddy, you've been tossed away like a flea-bitten mutt. Doesn't that make you mad? Of course I'm upset, but repaying evil with evil would only create a vicious circle of hatred and cruelty. What will playing their game accomplish? Very admirable. Honestly, I'm amazed a noble soul like you managed to stick around in Irisu as long as you did. Say whatever you want. In any case, I've given you all the money I can, and now I want my daughter back. Figures. Yeah, I guess it figures. Knowing you, I guess you'd sort of say that. Well, in other words, when you couldn't come up with the money, I suppose your fate was pretty much sealed. Look out! Behind you! No! Papa! Such an idiot. Really now. You're a true idiot. A completely hopeless baka. Papa! This little lady, Irisu Makina, has a sister the same age, so you know, your family isn't hard up for replacements. Wasn't any reason to pay some ridiculously high ransom for the kid. Hell, some people might have been better off without her around. Listen, Masataka-san, it's not like I'm doing this because I enjoy it, you know? If anything, I'm damn upset it turned out this way. Pulling the trigger like this makes me sick to my goddamn stomach. This right here is a truly shitty job. But you can't just go pushing all the unpleasant work on your subordinates, right? So I'm stepping up and taking care of things with my own hands. But I gotta say, you're one sorry excuse for a father. Okay, so you kill him and then you insult him as you kill him. Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck you, kidnapper. If you'd shut up with the 2 million we asked for and paid the damn ransom in full, we'd have taken the money, said much appreciation, and left this place smiling. I don't know about that. I might play through the rest of the Makina route and then realize it's probably not about the money at all. It's probably just about the guy just realizing what corrupt family he joined, speaking out against it, and then the Irisu clan not liking that he was speaking out against them. On top of it all, when I try to compromise with that evidence of yours, you actually turn me down? What the hell do you expect me to do, Masataka-san? What kind of a father are you? If you love your daughter enough to walk in here like an idiot, then get the damn money, even if you have to steal and cheat and lie. This is just pathetic. I'm so miserable, I think I'm gonna cry. Ah, shit. I'm out of bullets. Hey, more bullets. Boss, I think we should just... What? You saying something? I can't hear, so good thanks for the gun. Speak up a little, numbnuts. Boss, let's just leave it at that. We should really get moving. Idiot. Don't fucking scream. Ah! Don't fucking scream! Wait. Hold on a second here. Are you serious? Masataka-san, you're still alive? What the hell? Is this guy immortal or something? Maybe it's just because you can't aim, boss. What? Didn't quite catch that. If you got something to say, then spit it out. It's nothing, sir. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, whatever. He'll crawl on his own soon enough anyway. Alright, let's get back. Ah, shit. My head's fucking killing me. Hey, boss, what should we do about the kid? I don't know, let her go. Don't really have a reason to keep her alive anymore. No fucking bullets left. Guess we could strangle her to death? But boss, we're already cutting it a little close here. Close? Close to what? Our plane's leaving soon. Oh right, well whatever. Forget it. Pain in the ass anyway. Let's go. Just leave the kid. Not like she saw our faces anyway. Yes, this is a dream. A choking, agonizing dream. The sort of dream you spend constantly wishing you could wake up from. Huh? Papa, are you okay? You're bleeding a whole lot. Makina, what about you? Are you injured? Does it hurt anywhere? I'm fine, but what about you, Papa? Does it hurt? No, I'm fine too. It doesn't hurt at all. That's a lie. I mean, Papa, you're bleeding. You're bleeding so much. Oh, it's true. It doesn't hurt at all. Even though I'm bleeding so much. Mysterious, isn't it? I'm not in any pain. You got hurt because you were protecting me, right? Don't worry about it. That's the way it's supposed to be. You didn't do anything wrong. But I'm sorry, Makina. Why are you apologizing? If you hadn't been born as my daughter, you never would have had to go through this. I really am sorry. Don't apologize, Papa. It's weird. Why'd you say sorry for something like that? I want to untie those ropes and get you free, but I can't move my fingers that well. I'm sorry. Papa, what's wrong? Would you mind talking to me about something? I want to hear your voice. Because I'm gonna die soon. I want that to be the last thing I hear. You want me to talk? About what? Anything's fine. A funny story would be nice right about now. It was kind of sudden. Can't really think of anything. That's right. I guess it's the man's job to break the ice. I want the last thing to be when I die. I want the last thing to hear when I die be my beautiful daughter's voice. Doesn't it hurt? I said I'm fine, didn't I? It doesn't hurt at all. I can't feel a thing. Look, I'm smiling, aren't I? Yeah, you're smiling. So you must be okay, right? Do you suppose this guy's been shot several times before and he just got used to getting plastered with bullets? Except this time it's gonna kill him? Come on, you lie to me all the time! You'd promised we'd celebrate my birthday together this year, but you got so busy at work you didn't even come home. I see. Is that right? Jeez, what's so funny? Well, you see, I want you to remember my smile. Yeah. I love your smile, Papa. I see. Thank you, Makina. Papa? Sorry, kiddo. Truth is, I've been really swamped at work lately. Didn't get much sleep last night. Papa, you're sleepy? Yeah. Sorry about that. Well, it's not your fault, right? You gotta do your job. I'm sorry. Have a good nap. Images to proceed unfortunate events, anybody? I'm gonna wake you up in an hour. It just kills me inside realizing that he's not gonna wake up from this. We've been told like numerous times already that he doesn't wake up from this. I called out to him many times. He's fucking dead. He'd fallen into a deep sleep. Not just that, he's dead. In time, morning came and the area grew bright, but Papa didn't wake up. I called out to him many times. In time, the sun fell and night came, but even then, Papa didn't open his eyes. And morning came again, still dead. At some point, Papa's body started to smell really bad. I mean, it was summer, so Papa was starting to rot. And the bugs. There were lots and lots of bugs. Enough to make you wonder where they all came from. Hey, Papa. Did you die? You said you were fine, didn't you? Papa tricked me again. He said it was just fine, but he died. Hey, can you believe that? Who'd tell a lie like that? Unbelievable. I think the best I could have maybe done was at least be honest. Tell her just to, like, tell me a funny story. Just, I want to hear your voice. Let that be the last thing I think of as I die. I want to die with a pleasant thought. So I talked to Papa many times. Papa was supposed to buy me a puppy for my birthday. Supposed to buy me a puppy. He promised we'd go to the beach together once he got some time off from work this summer. He'd promised we'd play with fireworks together at night. And then eventually Makina did go do all that, but with the students of Mihama, right? He said he always dreamed about teaching his child to ride a bike. I've been looking forward to all that for so long, so I kept talking to Papa on and on, but eventually I ran out of words. I said everything there was to say, so I just looked quietly down at his corpse. I'd already talked enough for a lifetime. It didn't feel like there was any need to keep going. So I spoke one final sentence. This time would be my last. Papa, you liar. I don't know if the words Makina just spoke were directed at me or her real father, but either way they startle me, conscious as I am of hiding things from her. Watching the girl sniffle miserably in my lap, I can feel my own mood sinking. It's not like me to get pulled along by the emotions of others. Have I gotten weaker? The thought's unpleasant, disturbing even. It's like I've bitten into something and felt my teeth rattle loosely in my skull. The animal variety show on the television, having reached the serious second half of the program, begins to broadcast the story of a wolf raising his children. Yeah, after that, flashback. I honestly could probably hardly care less about Dave. So what if Dave just died from that snake bite? I'm just hoping Makina's gonna do alright. No matter how many times it's knocked down, the animal keeps standing up again. I see. Weaker isn't the right word, is it? That's the wolf standing up to raise its children. That symbolizes something, doesn't it? So I assume Yuji's probably going to likely get shot down time and time again in the future. He's just going to keep on standing up to protect Makina, right? Makina reaches out reflexively. As if requesting help, I take her hand and squeeze it firmly. I'm right here, Makina. When we're like this, I can almost fool myself into believing I've become a good person. It's embarrassing to discover I'm still capable of these sorts of feelings, but it also brings me something close to happiness. At the same time, there's another current of unease. The same old doubts. Is it really alright for me to touch this girl with my soiled hand? But I made up my mind. If the girl reaches out for help, I'll take her hand. I'll hold on as long as I can, and if I should falter, I'll let go and fall alone. Makina's hand, grasped tightly in mine, feels a little lighter than it did before. I haven't spent much time in any halfway normal school, so I can't really call myself an authority on the subject, but the thing called homework is truly a pain in the ass. Can we not think about homework, please? I'm here to just feel feels and almost cry, not think about homework right now. I'm here to feel something, not just think about homework. If I really want to do homework, I can just go to school. Even when exams are approaching and you know you have to buckle down, you'll find yourself making more progress on cleaning your room than reading your textbooks, reflexively seeking out a possible distraction from reality. Some people handle it better than others, but in general, nobody's at their best when forced to confront something troublesome. Just facing up to an arduous pile of problems requires some real willpower. At present, Makina is the homework I need to confront. And due to the truly enormous scope of the problem, using youthful energy to force my way to a solution hasn't gone so smoothly. There's been a lot of unproductive agonizing going on. Of course, considering the imminent danger, it's clear that taking immediate action will be best. If I've got the time to procrastinate using my daily running routine as a pretext, it'd probably be better spent charging into the Irisu home with a dagger in my hand, and at least trying to do my duty, without even knowing exactly 100% who to kill just yet. Yeah, just run into the home with a dagger, and possibly not even kill the right person, and quite possibly just get killed yourself. That's really not gonna go over well. Yeah, Makina said it herself. Don't die, Papa. And even if by some chance the world were to tilt in an unexpected direction, how can we hope to compensate society for the resulting damage? No matter how hard I think, the answers don't come. It's easy enough to boast that you'll stick to your guns no matter who tries to push you around, but the simple fact is that fighting the power almost never ends badly for the power in question. Hell, if one individual's stubborn resistance were enough to frustrate those entrusted with authority, the way of the world would change fundamentally. And not necessarily for the better. In the end, I'm not much more than the country's pet dog, and the Irisu bear exceptional influence by my master. I can't even bare my fangs against them. But here's what it comes down to. I want to keep Makina safe, even if it costs me my life. I don't give a damn about the national interest. On a very simple, personal level, Irisu Makina is my first and absolute priority. I love you, Makina, more than anyone else in the world. Where'd that come from all of a sudden? I'm affirming my own feelings, that's all. The fact that I love you. That you're the one thing I should prioritize above all else. I was just speaking those thoughts out loud to see if they rang true. Oh, and what were the results? In terms of my personal feelings, there's nothing wrong with those words, Makina. You're definitely the most important thing in the world to me. However, as a wise man once said, there's no woman in the world more troublesome than your mother. It's a little hard to say this to her own daughter. But I don't think it's possible to phrase this both gently and accurately. Hold on a minute. No woman in the world more troublesome than your mother. Is he saying this to Makina? So is this foreshadowing that Makina's mother is going to be the most troublesome person in this whole, I don't know, drama, and like Makina's mom is the main villain here? I'm going to be frank here. Your mom's a sociopathic bitch. And despite this long, convoluted attempt at an excuse, when you get right down to it, I'm afraid of her. Probably not something her own daughter should be saying, but my mom's basically a nasty little kid who never grew up. I could definitely understand being scared of her, you know? To be honest, I don't have the strength to confront your family head-on. Given that, there are only two possibilities. We can run and hide, or we can try to hold out and find a way to endure their one-sided abuse. To be honest, I can't bring myself to make that call. What do you want me to do? No. Please tell me what I should do, Makina. I get where you're coming from, but I can't just tell you to do something that's going to screw up your whole life for my convenience. I see. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Alright, in that case, let's get a third opinion. We can pretend like they're the ones who pushed us into this, then do whatever we want while blaming it on them. How's that sound? Oh! An extremely Japanese way of passing the buck! That's what I'm talking about! Let's go with that. You're hella smart, Papa! No matter how skilled a soldier you may be, when you're unsure of the next move, don't try to muddle it through alone. Consult your superior officer. Last I checked, Yushi's superior officer has literally just told him to go kill Makina, so I don't even know. I don't even think he has that option. I don't think he really has the superiors to consult if they're on the Irisu family's side wanting to kill the girl he loves. I don't think he has that option. When I was very young, the person who looked down on the board from above was always my sister. If I did as she told me, I could at least avoid the worst case scenario no matter what the situation. After my sister's death, the next person to watch the big picture for me was my master. But Asako's advice tended to be a little heavy on the brute force approach, sometimes to the point of excess. JB was an indispensable counterweight, leaning heavily in the opposite direction. Asako loved the high-risk, high-return play. JB strongly favored low-risk, low-return. Raised under their mutual guidance, I naturally began to weigh their opinions against each other, searching for the answer that felt correct for me. But today, Asako's no longer around to offer one of those staggeringly drastic plans that always left you wondering if she'd even thought about the consequences. Even if I could consult with JB about this, she'd without a doubt recommend looking for a way to maintain the status quo. Should we give in or resist? To break this sort of deadlock, you really do need someone who can picture a big picture. And you came to me. Why exactly? Isn't it obvious? There aren't many people in this school even familiar with the circumstances, and despite the whole Neutral Observer Act, you're constantly giving us precise and timely advice. Maybe so, but what are you expecting me to do? I don't expect to do anything. Hell, look at it as standing in for a coin flip. Just casually call out heads or tails if you want. You do understand our situation, right? Even if that's alright with you, the consequences are real. I can't assume responsibility for what happens to you two as the result of my casual decision, and I don't want to be left regretting it. Try asking someone else. Come on, don't be so cold. You know we can't ask anyone else, right? Well, maybe, but look, I'm just not comfortable with this. I understand we're asking a lot, but if I had to make an analogy, faced with the approach of an overwhelmingly powerful American army, Do you continue fighting down to the last soldier? Or accept being branded a coward, swallow your tears, and return to help lay the cornerstones of your nation's long, painful rebirth? Even if you consult the non-com who's taken over your platoon after the CO bit the dust, he'll just snarl, "The hell do I know? Make up your own damn mind in response." If anything, you're better off making a field appointment in the absence of a true CO. Shout, "Corporal Kazami, you're the leader of this platoon," then give him a temporary promotion to second lieutenant. Your man can't help but stiffen his spine. However, even knowing full well I'm being unreasonable, I want to ask you once more. What should I do, Commander Sakaki? Commander? Please, Lieutenant! Give us the word! Just one word! If you tell us to die, we'll hold out in this island for years, taking as many enemies as we can to hell with us. Look, you two, this isn't a game, you know. The whole idea of leaving such an important decision to me is fundamentally a mistake. You two haven't mistaken me for some kind of all-knowing god, have you? So you say, but if you remove but a single character from the name Sakaki, you're left with the kanji for god. What would that be, a kaki? I don't know my Japanese. Ooh, touché! Sakaki, my friend, no. My god. Tell us what we should do. I beseech you. Here, I'll give you an offering. Grant us an oracle. Dios mío. What the? Stop throwing coins at me! There are no atheists in foxholes, as they say. The opponent is far more powerful than us. That reality is clearer than the sight of the bombers soaring overhead on their way to devastate the mainland. How meaningful would it be to barricade ourselves away in this island? Is dying and becoming a patriotic spirit really the only righteous choice? But survival gained by turning tail and fleeing is a shameful thing. Anyone with a shred of compassion for those left behind couldn't accept such a selfish path. Yeah, I also heard that in Japan, like, they really don't take shame very well over there. Only easy way to resolve this is by sending Makina home to her family immediately. Yeah, the same family that had her kidnapped, had her father murdered right in front of her, and then just left her there for 6 days with the decaying corpse of her dad. Which, obviously, none of us want to see this happen again. But what awaits her there is death, in spirit if not in body. Japan should take the islands, you say? Oh, if I press spacebar, the text box disappears. If I were to flee with Makina in tow, those left behind in this school might very well suffer these consequences as well. In the worst case scenario, there's no guarantee they won't be taken as hostages. I understand I'm being tested here, but it seems I'm a hopeless loser who can't make his own decisions when push comes to shove. Please help me, Sakaki. Yoshiko. How many times do I have to tell you not to randomly change the middle letters? Sorry about that. Kids these days feel they need to invent slang for everything they see. Try to let it slide. In the first place, you've already found your answer, haven't you? Why don't you just go ahead and do what you want? I mean, all you're really trying to do here is push the cleanup after the fact onto me. Or am I wrong? You're not wrong. That's exactly how it is. I know we're being incredibly selfish. This might end up causing serious problems for you and the others, but even so, I want to protect Makina. Would you mind if I stated my honest opinion? Go ahead. Although a certain degree of protection is provided within the grounds of the school. Now that Irisu-san has become an active target, the reality is that we can no longer guarantee her safety, or even that of the other students around her. I'm hardly eager to throw out a friend who studied at my side all this time. But as a member of the family administering this school, I'm obligated to make an extremely painful decision. Irisu Makina, I'm going to arrange for your expulsion from this school. Expulsion? In other words, this isn't a suspension or a leave of absence. You'll be expunged entirely from our register. Irisu Makina never attended this school, or so it will be made to appear. I see. Erasing every document with the name Irisu Makina on it. Or just changing the name. Make up some guy like, I don't know, Comrade Ogilvy. Which would mean me as well, right? Probably. There was never a Yuji here either. That works for you, yes? I'll explain the situation with Principal Tachibana and the other girls. Yumi-chan. Sorry for the hassle. That's alright. I can't do much else for you two, after all. Alright, Makina, since that's decided, wanna run away with me? Yeah, let's run! To the ends of the earth or whatever! Sakaki's right, of course. Whatever I might have said, the truth is already I made up my mind. A snap of the Irisu's fingers is enough to leave people dead. They can't be persuaded or negotiated with. Staying here would leave me grinding my teeth impotently. If I curl into a ball and wait for the hurricane to pass, I'll ultimately be forced to kill Makina with my own hands. Given a choice between killing her and running away, I'd naturally choose the latter. But disappearing into the night without a word would be agonizing. Knowing that those we're leaving behind might well face unjust suffering, I simply couldn't bring myself to do what had to be done. And now Sakaki's agreed to assume the role of protecting the school from the consequences of her actions. Sakaki, thank you for expelling us from school. Now I can run away with a clean conscience. Yeah, let me tell you, Makina's been through, like, fucking hell. There was, like, a shooting at the bakery burned down, lost her job. Now, of course, there was her recalling that terrible dream with her papa's corpse decaying in front of her. Now she's being expelled from school. She's being expelled from the school she was safe in for a good year or two. I'm simply driving out a pair of problem children. I haven't done a single thing worthy of your gratitude. Not only expelling them from the school, but also removing any and all evidence they ever existed at that school. Going the path of Harold B. Syme here, I say. Or any other person. Yumi-chan! Apparently overcome with emotion at Sakaki's unexpectedly warm words, Makina spreads her arms out like a bird flapping its wings. Taking advantage of the momentary distraction this provides, she proceeds to barrel forward into Sakaki's bosom. Huh? Wait! Closing to a grappling range with an exemplary slide dash before a target can even begin to evade, Makina twines her legs tightly around Sakaki's knees, cutting off any possibility of retreat. Thank you, Yumi-chan. I'll definitely come back here someday. Yes, fine, good! Now let go of me! So until then, take care of yourself, okay? Makina forces her lips against those of her immobilized prey, and the girl's not playing around either. From this passionate kiss, accompanied by the faint clacking of teeth against teeth, I sense something like the essence of female friendship. A profoundly moving spectacle brings a tear to my eye. Makina just kissed the girl and she liked it. Hope her boyfriend doesn't mind it. Felt so wrong, felt so right. I kissed the girl and I liked it. I liked it. Sakaki's slap against Makina's back becomes progressively weaker, and the muffled grunts leaking out of the corner of her mouth grow sweet in tone. Looks like you've stepped up your game once again, Makina. Taking in this radiant scene of womanly affection and noting with my approval a maturation of my favorite pupil, I fold my arms in front of my chest and nod deeply in satisfaction. Perhaps running out of breath at last, Makina releases Sakaki from her grasp and sucks down a great lungful of air. Yumi-chan. I love ya. What? What? What are you doing? Why did you kiss me? What? Why? A thank you? We're both girls! Huh? Then why did you put your tongue in? Well, a little bonus? Arg! I don't need that sort of thank you, let alone the bonus. Just get yourselves out of this academy already! Hey, Sakaki! I hadn't managed to say goodbye yet. You got chased away, you know. Why'd that girl get her knickers in a twist? Don't ask me. You tackled her on the floor and then started kissing her without her consent? I was just trying to show a little gratitude. Did I screw up? Yeah. That does it! I've had enough about you. I've had about enough of you two. Not good. Run, Makina. As a blunt projectile shatters noisily against the floor behind us, Mach and I flee at a sprint. You know, Makina, we have to say goodbye to this school now. Are you really alright with that? Yeah, I think it's best this way. You know, don't they say that pet cats tend to disappear all of a sudden when they're getting ready to die? It's probably the same for me. I want to disappear like this out of nowhere so everybody can look back and think, she sure was a noisy kid, or whatever happened to that dumb girl, or hope she's doing alright. What was her name? Seems to have slipped my mind. Can't remember, her name slipped my mind. That's why I want them to talk about me after I'm gone. It's fine. You won't die. I won't let you. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah. Thanks, Papa. Now that we decide to move, there's no reason to drag our feet. Sometimes a single minute's vacillation can prove fatal. Okay, I guess I'll just do this on some other live stream. I'll do Fruit of Grisaia, Makina Route Part 8. And then we'll figure out where they're gonna run away to. So, the bakery burning down, Makina's horrible nightmare, and then also getting expelled from the school and having to run away. Next stream, we're gonna figure out where they're gonna run to. Next Grisaia stream. So I'm gonna guess maybe we're getting close to the end of the route, and also placing bets that Makina's mom is gonna be like the main antagonist in this route.